Wednesday show. This seems a lot lower than it usually is. What? Wednesday show. Wednesday show. Wednesday show. I'm still trying to get I'm falling behind here. We are talking all about anything and everything Disney. That sounds good, right? About anything and everything Disney. That sounds good. How's everyone doing? I'm just trying to promote myself here. I thought I had a little bit more time, but I guess I did not have as much time as I thought. How's everyone doing? You guys doing good? Hopefully. It is time for another Wednesday show over on my YouTube and from Screen to Theme Facebook page. Yay. Okay. Hey, howdy, hey, welcome to the practice round. So how's everyone doing? Are you guys doing good today? Hopefully everyone's doing good today. This program, the lighting, I don't know why it seems so much better today, but it seems really good. This part, though, it always gets that little sunblock right there, the white block. Wednesday show. Oh, yeah. All right, so today we're going to be going through and answering any questions that you guys have about Disney, anything and everything. So make sure if you guys have any questions to start throwing them into the comments below or to the side, or I'm not even sure how they appear. To the side sometimes. I think it's Facebook, it's below. YouTube's to the side, like this side, right? Am I correct or could I be wrong? I have no idea. Oh, yeah. You better be teaching that. That's a life essential thing. I have a video from Erik from when his son was probably like 1.5. And he says, Tom, what do you say? Say, oh yeah. And he goes, oh yeah. It's a great video. I still have it. I have no idea either. I'm clueless. Okay, so share with a friend, leave a comment, all that other fun stuff. So let's get this party started. Today is the 642nd episode of the Wednesday show, which is kind of crazy. Isn't that crazy? To me, that's crazy that we've done 642 of these. I feel like the 600th episode was not that long ago. It doesn't seem like it was 42 weeks ago, but I vividly remember sitting right here and we did Jeopardy with you fine folk. No, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with you fine folk right here on the channel. All right, so let's get this party started. We are going to start the 642nd episode of the Wednesday show in 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 642nd episode of the Wednesday show. Today is December 8th, 2021. I'm your host, as always, Brent Dodge. Hello. Today we're going to be answering your questions about anything and everything Disney, so make sure you start throwing your questions down in the comments right now, because if you guys don't ask questions, the show's over. So make sure you just keep on throwing as many questions in as possible, and we're going to go through and answer your questions about anything and everything Disney. But of course, before we get to that, let's talk about our news for the week. As always, thank you everyone who's been joining us for our Saturday in the Park. If you didn't already know, every single Saturday right here on this channel, we do a live broadcast from someplace found throughout the Walt Disney World Resort. You never know where we're going to be. I don't even know where I'm going to be. I've got a pass for Studios on Saturday, but my family's in town and they have passes for Magic Kingdom. I keep on trying to get the Magic Kingdom passes, but I haven't been able to get the Magic Kingdom passes yet. So right now it is up in the air where we're going to be, Studios or Magic Kingdom on Saturday. But tune in every Saturday right here at 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's going to be over on the From Screen to Theme Facebook page. So make sure you join us every single Saturday right over there for that fun. And of course, as always, today's show is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemousetravel.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All of their services are absolutely, positively, 100%ly free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. All right. So tonight we're going to be doing an Ask the Expert segment where we're going to be answering any and all questions that you guys have about anything and everything Disney. Of course, if you guys have never joined us for one of these segments before, let me kind of give you a rundown of what we will talk about. We will talk about literally anything and everything that is Disney related. So in the past, we've had things like, can you please explain to me how this attraction came into being? And then we'll go on to a, 15, 20-minute little, rampage about different things. Or if you want to, we could go through and we could talk about my favorite snacks or whatever you guys want to talk about, we will talk about. So just start throwing your different questions into the comments below and we will answer them as we go through here. All right. So to get us started, every single, as we do in every single Ask the Expert segment, I ask my Patreon pals if they have any questions that they would like to share first. We're going to get to those ones first right now, right here. So let's get to it. I didn't even look to see. I know some people texted me questions. I think I've got 5 questions that people sent me text messages or private messages for. But I never even checked to see if anyone else sent anything. No one sent me on my actual question. So let's go to the text messages and the messages that I have responded to, or I'm going to respond to. All right. First one is from our friend Erik. Hi, Erik. Any word on when the Walt Disney World Railroad will be returning? Yes. So I have heard from one of my friends who does work over at Magic Kingdom. They told me that what they've heard is coming in the very near future, we will see the Walt Disney World Railroad train over at the Fantasyland station. Now, if you remember, for a while there, when the train first closed down, we would be able to go see it at the Main Street USA train station, and you could go up there, you could sit in it. It wouldn't take you anywhere, but you could go up there and you could sit in it. And then eventually they moved on, and it was taken backstage, and we have not seen it ever since. Since then, we also have been having it, so we're kind of just curious about where the Walt Disney World Railroad is. So there are rumors that the Walt Disney World Railroad will be coming to cast members. Apparently, there's something that they saw backstage. I'm not positive exactly what it was, but pretty much what they told me was that the Walt Disney World Railroad most likely will be coming to Fantasyland, so guests can go look at it, sit down in it, etc., etc., etc. And then apparently, I don't know how likely this is, but apparently at some point they might be bringing it over to the Main Street train station, and guests can ride it over to Fantasyland, and then they will back it up and then ride it again. Or you won't back up with them, but it will back up, and then it'll take guests that made the Main Street train station again. So I'm not positive how reliable that is, but apparently that is what some cast members have heard who work at Magic Kingdom. So cross your fingers. I would love, even if I could just ride it from like the Fantasyland train station to like the Fantasyland train station, like go 1 foot, I'd be fine with that. All right, let's go to our next question here. Have you tried any food on property lately that was really good? Yes, today I actually tried the Mr. Toad's Brat Burger over at Friar Nook's. So for the 50th anniversary, there's these different things. And I also saw in the chat room, someone had a similar question. What is the difference between the 50th burger and any other Disney burger? Well, there are several different burgers that are actually on Disney property right now for specifically the 50th anniversary. So I can tell you what the difference is between the Mr. Toad one and a regular burger. And it's huge difference. So the 50th burger that I had today, which is the Mr. Toad's Brat Burger, I don't know the exact name, the correct name of it. It's like the Mr. Toad's or the Wild Ride Brat Burger patty or something. I don't know. But you can get over at Friar Nook's. First off, it is lettuce, tomato, and cheese and a bun. Typical things that you would find on a cheeseburger. Now, instead of being a burger, instead of being a hamburger, it's actually a brat patty. So it is a brat. It is not a hamburger. So it is a brat patty that you actually have placed on side of the or on top of the bun. And then in addition to that, they have a tongue, which is a pickle kind of coming out. And they also have 2 owls for the eyes. The brat bun or the brat burger itself is so much better than just a regular burger. It was probably one of the better burgers that I've had on Disney property. I don't know if this would qualify as my favorite 50th snack that they've had so far, but it probably is up there. I think my favorite one might be the Widowmaker, which is a spicy chicken sandwich found over in Frontierland. That one was really good. But this burger today was really good too. So the 50th burger, opposed to any other Disney burger, yeah, it comes with olives for the eyes. It comes with a pickle that's a tongue. But most importantly, it is a brat burger instead of a hamburger. So that's the big difference. The meat is different and much better quality, in my opinion. We have 3 more questions from different people here. What are your thoughts on Hawkeye? If you guys have not seen Hawkeye, make sure you go check out Hawkeye. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're not a Marvel fan, then you probably wouldn't really care that much about it. I think Hawkeye so far is really good. I've watched the first 3 episodes. I've not watched today's episode yet. I will be watching that after we finish up the Wednesday show here. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite. I mean, WandaVision was so good. I really like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Loki was really good. Everything that Marvel Studios has really put out so far, I think, has been really good. I think the worst one is What If. I still enjoyed What If, but I think out of the 5, What If is my least favorite. But it was also the one that I was looking forward to the most, so that might be why it's not as high up in my list. But yeah, Hawkeye, definitely check it out if you are a Marvel fan. I highly recommend it. Next question. Let's move to the other person here, then we'll get to Eris for the last one. What are your goals right now for social media? Because I talk about this a lot. I really do. My goals right now for social media is I want to hit 1,300 subscribers over on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube and you're watching right now, but you're not subscribed, hit the little subscribe button. That's like down over this way. And that's one of my goals. My other goal is I would like to hit 2,000 subscribers at some point, but right now, baby steps. Going to 1,300. I had another goal. I can't think of what the other goal was. I mean, my goal is always to continue to grow these pages and these channels and everything else like that, so that way we can eventually kind of go full time on this, which can give me more time to do books. I want to sell more books. I want to write more books. I want to, yeah. But yeah, if you're not subscribed, click this button down here. And if you're on Facebook right now and you're not following, hit the follow button, wherever that's at, someplace around here. All right, let's go to our last question before we go to the questions in the chat room. Do you think the Castle Christmas lights will return after the 50th? I feel like they will. I don't know. I feel like the Castle Christmas lights didn't come back mainly due to COVID. I think that's the main reason why, not because of social distancing, but I think mainly due to the fact that, well, I think the Castle show, you kind of need to do social distancing, which is why they have not done the Castle show yet. But I feel like they just felt like there was not going to be enough people at the parks to really appreciate it and to put into all that work, because it costs a lot of money to do those Christmas lights every year. So would it be worth the price to have it so they had to close down part of the main street, or part of Fantasyland for so long to put the Christmas lights up, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think eventually they just kind of said, you know what, it's not really worth the price for the next year or two. And I feel like we might be seeing them come back next year, which will actually still be going on for the 50th anniversary. But I feel like if it's not next year, for sure, we will see it the following year after the 50th anniversary celebration is over. All right, let's go to your questions in the chat room. As always, tonight's show is based on you guys asking Disney questions. So if you have a Disney question, throw in the chat room. The more questions you ask, the longer the show goes on for. The less questions you ask, good night. All right, let's go to your questions here. If you had to choose between getting a No Way Jose or corn dog nuggets, which would you choose and why? 100% No Way Jose. 100%. I love corn dog nuggets, but No Way Jose is in a completely different category. Corn dog, I like corn dog nuggets, but there's a lot of food options at Disney World that I would choose before it. No Way Jose is numero uno on my list of top things. Even at Magic Kingdom, I would choose like Liberty Tree Tavern over the corn dog nuggets. I love corn dog nuggets. Don't get me wrong. I think corn dog nuggets are a great thing to eat. I think it's a great snack. But if I had to choose between corn dog nuggets and No Way Jose, No Way Jose, 100%. 100% No Way Jose. Side note, I had one of my friends was watching the show not that long ago, and they asked what this is. This is, ooh, that's a sword. This is the Rocketeer, Bigelow's Air Circus. They said the way the light's hidden it, they couldn't really see what it was at all. So that's from the Rocketeer. That's, I don't know. My friend Alex gave that to me for Christmas, because she knows that I like the Rocketeer. All right. This thing never sits every time I put it up here. So it might fall down during the show. Okay. I just saw it on the screen. I was like, oh, maybe I should, in case that person's watching, or maybe they're watching later on and I can answer their question too. Okay, let's continue going to your questions in the chat room. Again, if you guys have any questions, throw them in the question and we will go through. Because there's actually not many questions left to go. So throw as many questions in as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be a much shorter show than we usually do. I saw something that part of the monorail had issues. I'll be in Orlando next week. I want to do a challenge to go on as many Disney hotels in one day on Disney transportation. I need the monorail. The monorail always has a lot of issues. The monorail is a very old technology, and it always has some issues going on. Today we got on the monorail, but the monorail that was in front of us stayed at the the monorail station at the Ticket Transportation Center for probably about 5 minutes before it left, so we could get the next monorail coming in. And then when we got off the monorail, I noticed that they had already closed down the monorail, so people couldn't even get up onto the monorail. So yeah, the monorail is always having issues. It's just kind of a standard thing. If you are doing a challenge to go to as many Disney hotels in one day, what I recommend doing is use buses a lot. But you can also use a lot of watercraft because they'll go to the same resorts around the Seven Seas Lagoon / Bay Lake area. If you even go from like Wilderness Lodge, you can go from Wilderness Lodge to the Contemporary by boat. And then you can hop on the monorail if it's working. If it's not working, you can take the boat to the Magic Kingdom, or you can walk to the Magic Kingdom. And then you can also do the pathway in addition to that too, to go to Contemporary Grand Floridian and Polynesian. So if you're looking for other ways to get around, that's the way to do it. Hey. Because there's only 3 that are on the monorail loop. So it is pretty easy to knock all of them off. Or if you even take a bus to get to the Magic Kingdom, you can walk that trail over to the Contemporary as well. That trail, the trails going around the Seven Seas Lagoon, I love. I think those are my favorite walking paths on all of Walt Disney World property. All right, keep on throwing those questions in the chat room so we can keep on this show going. What is the best ride at Epcot? My personal favorite is the American Adventure. It's an attraction, but it's my favorite thing at Epcot. I think it's just a great show. I love Audiomatronics. I think Audiomatronics are fascinating. Anytime that you can have a show with a lot of Audiomatronics. Today we were watching the Country Bear Jamboree, and the Country Bear Jamboree to me, I think is just such a good show. Not because I think it's hilarious, because I do think it's a hilarious show. There's some great parts to it, but I think the technology that goes into the Audiomatronics are just mind-blowing. Like when you look at some of those Country Bears and you're looking at them thinking this was created back in the 1960s. Like this was late 1960s. They were coming up with the show. They were creating these things and they still look amazing today. I mean, obviously they've gone through a lot of work throughout the years, but the fact that this technology has been around for literally like almost 60 years now, it was 60 years in 2 years. But this technology has been around for 60 years and it's still going strong is just mind-blowing to me. And the amount of detail that goes into the different Audiomatronics, I just absolutely love. So the American Adventure, I think at Epcot, for me, it's always just been one of those attractions that I love going to. Plus, I would love to just be underneath the stage while they're lifting up all the different things. And like just the amount of different things that are going on that show is mind-boggling to me. Like I do a lot of research about a lot of things on Disney property. That's one of the few that I have not done a ton of research on, mainly due to the fact that I love when watching the show. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Like, here comes this character. Now here comes this person. Now here comes this person. And the way that they have it so it all kind of goes through so fluidly blows my mind every single time I've seen it. Now, if you're thinking about best like ride-through attraction, I would say the original Figment, even though it's not there anymore. I think that was the best attraction, or the best riding attraction where you actually move. Current one, Soarin' is always great. Test Track is good, but I miss the old Test Track a whole lot better. I also really like the Seas with Nemo and Friends. I also like the Grand Fiesta Tour starring the 3 Cab Bureaus. I also think Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is amazing. I also like Frozen After After. I'm pretty easy to please. I like most things in life, and I like most of the rides at Epcot. So there's a lot of different attractions at Epcot. I can't really think of anything that I'm like, ugh, don't want to go on that. Unless, like, if it came down to, like, this or this, then I could probably make a decision. But when it comes down to just general rides, I could do anything. Are the trams going to come back full time next year? Yes. So story time. So today we were over at the Magic Kingdom, which I've mentioned like twice already, which is kind of crazy because it's only been 20 minutes of the show. But we were over at Magic Kingdom. We were walking on the tram lane, which is where you always walk for the last 2 years. Like they have you walk on the tram lane. And the customer was like, you need to be on the side over here. So also we had to like walk like where the cars were coming. And I was like, oh, it's because they're training again for the trams. And then we heard the cast member tell a guest, because the guest was like, where's the trams? The trams for Magic Kingdom are going to be open in the next week or two at Magic Kingdom. And then all the other ones are going to be open early 2022 at EPCOT Studios in Animal Kingdom. But early 2022, from what I'm hearing, is January. So they are right now going through training for all the cast members who work in the parking lots so they can learn how to drive the cars again, how they can do their spiels again, kind of go through everything again so they can kind of master it before they actually bring guests on board. So we will be seeing the trams coming again full time by, my guess is by the end of January. If it goes into February and we still haven't seen one of the parks yet, I don't know. I'll bring Brother Bear back to life. We'll do that. Yay. Okay. Well, let's continue going through. Again, if you guys have any questions, throw your questions into the comments below, and we will continue going through. I heard that Walt Disney World ships their churros from Disneyland. If that's the case, why don't they just make them on site? I heard that Walt Disney World ships their churros from Disneyland. If that's the case, churros. Okay. I've had to have this conversation with a few people who I know who live in Disneyland before. Julian, are you a Disneyland or a Disney World person? Because I think that's kind of important for this conversation. Or everyone out there, let me know in the comments below. Are you a Disney World or a Disneyland person, or are you a movie person? Because we talk about Disney movies here too. So let me know. But I've got friends who are Disneyland people. I've got friends who are Disney World people, and they don't really. A lot of these people don't go from one to the other very often. And if you're someone like me who goes from one to the other, I don't go there to Disneyland frequently, but I used to. And then they stopped doing races, so I saved a lot of money. But because of my going back and forth, it was easier for me to observe the different things that go on at Disney World for fans compared to Disneyland for fans. And in Disney World, the churros just are not a popular thing. Churros are not a big popular go-to food in Florida compared to Disneyland, when churros are just kind of like Southern California. Churros are like a big meal, not just in Disneyland, but they're a big thing to eat outside of Disneyland too. A lot of people kind of go through and they just absolutely love churros in that area. And in Central Florida, not so much. Like, I don't know any places outside of Disney World that sell churros. And I think it's because not a lot of people care about churros here. If you go over there, like if you go to Disneyland, I feel like, for instance, when Finalmations were around in Disneyland, it seemed like no one cared about Finalmations at all. Like every time I'd go out there, I'd be like, "Ooh, I'm going to trade some Finalmations," and they had like maybe 2 spots in every single park or in both parks that you could actually go through and trade Finalmations. And then here at Walt Disney World, it was like the biggest thing in the world. So I feel like there was these different things that, like in Disneyland, people love this, like they love the churros, while over in Walt Disney World, it's just not that big of a thing. There's a few places where you can buy churros at Walt Disney World, but it's not as big of a thing. There's not many people I know who are like, "Oh, I need to go to the park and get a churro." Most people are like, "I need to go to the park and get a Mickey pretzel or a Mickey premium bar." I can't think of a single one of my friends when we've ever been at the park who's ever been like, "Let's go get a churro right now." It just isn't that popular of a thing. So I think that's why they ship them from Disneyland, is because it's just not a popular thing here at Walt Disney World. I don't know why. I just don't know why. But I just think it's not I don't know. I cannot think of a single time in my 37 years of existence where I've been at the park and someone has suggested to get a churro while at Walt Disney World. However, I can think of several times when I've been at Disneyland and I've been with people and they have suggested getting a churro. It's fascinating. It really is fascinating. I don't know. We're gonna have to do some more research on this, but I really don't know. I forgot we can do this. I forgot that we can do this. I'm looking at the question. You guys, okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna continue doing that now as long as I'm thinking about it. All right. Have you been to Sam's Grotto? Trader Sam's. I love Trader Sam. I've been to Trader Sam's at Disneyland, and I've also been to Trader Sam's multiple times at Walt Disney World. I love Trader Sam's. I think it's a fun atmosphere. If you go into my bathroom, it would be kind of creepy, but if you went to my bathroom, I've got a floating shelf, and on top of that floating shelf, I have the Nautilus, like from one of the drinks is the Nautilus. And I think it's probably the only drink I've ever had there. I'm not a drinker. Like I drink water, hence, but I'm not a drinker at all. Like I rarely ever have a drink. And because of that, I love Trader Sam's. I love going to Trader Sam's. I think it's a fun atmosphere. I love the details in there. I could spend days in there just kind of like, documenting the details and going through the details and talking about how these details came about. But yeah, I enjoy Trader Sam's. It's been a while since I've been there, but I do enjoy Trader Sam's. Yay. Okay, let's go to our next question here. Our next question. Who is your favorite Imagineer? Who is my... Okay, let's break this down. Can we do old, like, or original Imagineer and then, like, recent Imagineer? Is maybe? Let me know in the comments below but we're gonna do it anyways. Original Imagineers, I think it's got to be Bob Gurr or Mark Davis. So for me, Bob Gurr is up a little bit higher, mainly just due to the fact that we interviewed him one time on this show, and that was a treat for me. I've met Bob Gurr 3 or 4 times now in person. I've got over in that part of my condo, I have a monorail, like one of the toy monorails, and I just had the front of the monorail car. I had him sign it one time when I met him. But yeah, Bob Gurr, just some of the stuff that he created, the monorail, for instance, is amazing. Some of the stuff that he went through. However, Mark Davis, out of the original ones, Mark Davis is probably the best, though, in my opinion. Mark Davis created so many amazing things that Mark Davis gave us Jungle Cruise. He gave us Pirates of the Caribbean. He gave us Haunted Mansion. He gave us Country Bears. He gave us Tinkerbell. I mean, a non-park thing. But Mark Davis brought so much life to so many things. We've talked about Mark Davis so many times on this show because there's been times where all of a sudden I started talking about Mark Davis. I'm like, oh, and he also did this, and he did this, and he did this. And because of Mark Davis, we have so many amazing attractions in the park. Now, okay, we're going on to another Mark Davis speech here. But one of the things that I've always found fascinating, this is one of those things that I want Disney to get back to sometime in the near future, is look at the parks when they first opened. Like, go back to 1955. In 1955, you had Fantasyland, right? Fantasyland had things like Snow White's Scary Adventures. There was no Pinocchios, but eventually Pinocchios would come. Manatee Party, Peter Pan, Mr. Toad. There were so many different things that were based off of products that Disney had created movies off of. But you left that section and you went to Frontierland, Adventureland, and Tomorrowland, and you had nothing that was from Disney movies. It was all brand new, original ideas. Nothing was duplicated from a movie. Nothing was duplicated from a TV show. It was all brand new things that Disney was creating specifically for the park. When you look at the early days at Disneyland and Disney World, you have things like the Country Bear Jamboree. There was no Country Bear Jamboree movie. It was an original idea that Mark Davis, along with Albertino, came up with. And to me, that's just like amazing that the two of them came up with this amazing idea. Then when you go to like Haunted Mansion, again, Mark Davis came up with this idea of this Haunted Mansion, along with several different Imagineers. And then you have things like Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates of the Caribbean wasn't a movie. Pirates of the Caribbean became a movie because of the attraction. And that's one of those things I think a lot of people kind of forget, especially now that you've got like Johnny Depp or Captain Jack Sparrow's in there and Captain Barbossa and everything else. Because of those characters being in there, most people are like, oh, yeah, this was, like the movie's based off of this, or this is based off the movie. No, it's not. Like the movies were based off of this attraction. So when you go back to those early days and you look at people like Mark Davis and you think, holy cow, this guy he's up there with like people like Stephen King, like, or J.K. Rowling or Sir Arthur Doyle, like all these different authors who came up with original stories that no one had ever done before. That's what Mark Davis was doing, but he wasn't writing it down in a book. He wasn't making a play. He was creating brand new stories that were in 3D form for us to enjoy. And I think because of that, it's just mind-blowing when you really look at the stuff that he created and you think this didn't exist before this. Like this came out of this guy's mind. Like he didn't watch a movie. He wasn't like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go watch Candle Shoe because everyone should watch Candle Shoe. If you've never watched Candle Shoe, I highly recommend Candle Shoe. Now on Disney Plus. But they didn't watch Candle Shoe and say, hey, this is a great movie. We should make a Candle Shoe attraction. He said, hey, what'd be funny is if a bunch of bears were up there performing a musical. That'd be a great idea. And they ran with it and they created this amazing attraction out of it. So when Imagineers do that, I give them all the props in the world. I still love the things that are coming to Disney, but I kind of want one of those original things as well. Because when you have things like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, amazing attraction. We have Tron coming up, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's all based off of things that we already know and love, which I love personally. But at the same time, it'd be really cool to have something brand new and original, a storyline that no one's ever heard before, and kind of run with that. So Mark Davis might be my overall answer. Mark Davis is I think Mark Davis is my favorite Imagineer. I was going to say for more recent times, I would say Tony Baxter, because Tony Baxter gave us things like Journey into Imagination with Figment, Splash Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, Disneyland Paris. Joe Rohde's another amazing Imagineer. He gave us Animal Kingdom. I mean, he gave us Alani. He gave us a lot of stuff at Tokyo Disney Sea. He gave us things for the cruise line. There's so many different Imagineers that it's tough to choose a favorite, but I think Mark Davis is probably in my opinion, he's probably the greatest Imagineer of all time. Every time we talk about Mark Davis on the show, like anytime we talk about an attraction that Mark Davis worked on, I always go on the thing about how great Mark Davis was as an Imagineer. And Erik, you made me do it again. So yeah, I think Mark Davis is Mark Davis. Mark Davis is my favorite Imagineer. Thank you. I never knew that until right now. I really didn't. What do I think? I heard the Grand Fiesta Tour was the best one. Grand Fiesta Tour is a great attraction. We got a person says they're a world person, Disney Cruise Line person. Churros are overrated. Don't at me. I've been to Walt Disney World a couple times, but most of my life has gone to Disneyland. There you go. Okay, let's do this one. If you could update any area in any park, what land would it be and why Tomorrowland? It would not be Tomorrowland. It would not be Tomorrowland. I think Tomorrowland needs a few new attractions, like we were just kind of talking about with these different updates. But it would not be Tomorrowland that I would update. Am I updating the entire land? Is that what we're doing? We're updating the entire land? Because I love Tomorrowland. Tomorrowland's got the People Mover. And it's got Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. It's got Space Mountain. I think Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is hilarious. It's got a lot of attractions that I think are great. I don't think I would update it. I would... Ooh, that's a tough question. I would probably update Future World, which they're doing. Because Future World at EPCOT I love, but it does need an update. I've been saying it for years that it needs an update, and I'm glad that it's finally getting an update. So, not Tomorrowland, Future World. Future World? Let's say Future World. I am sticking with Future World. Final answer. Okay, Future World is my answer. Future World, it's not as futuristic as it once was. It's just that simple. Okay, let's go through. You got Bob on the show. Yes. So the list of people that we've interviewed here, I'm going to forget some people because we haven't interviewed anyone for a while. I haven't reached out to many people for a while. Bob Gurr, Don Hahn, who was producer for Beauty and the Beast and pretty much everything else. But Beauty and the Beast is like his. Ridley Pearson, who wrote the Kingdom Keepers books. We interviewed Stacy from the Must Do Disney show when you turn on your TV at the Disney World resorts. We interviewed her years ago. Ron Miles, who he wrote a book about Disney. Ron Schneider, who is the inspiration for the Dreamfinder, for Figment. I'm trying to, I know I'm missing another big one. I'm just drawing a blank because we've done 642 episodes. So, we're bound to forget some people. Who would it be? I'm trying to think of also who would be like the highlight people, who would be the best people to interview. Right now I'm reading Haley Mills's book. I would love to interview Haley Mills. I would love to talk about so much with her about Pollyanna and Parent Trap and just what was Walt Disney like. Like, she knew Walt Disney. Anytime, those have always been my favorite interviews that we've done, are the ones that we can talk to people and we're like, oh, so what was Walt like? Because if it wasn't for Walt, we wouldn't be sitting here every night talking about all this stuff, or every Wednesday. And so, yeah, Haley Mills, I think that'd be a really cool one. There's a lot of people that I would love to interview at some point or another. It's just, yeah. All right, let's go to our next question here. How many rides became movies? How many movies became attractions? Oh, the movies becoming attractions. That's a whopper of a question. So let's do the other one. How many rides became movies? So we have Jungle Cruise, which is the most recent one. Great movie, by the way, if you've not seen it. Pirates of the Caribbean. Country Bear Jamboree became the Country Bears. Haunted Mansion had a movie, which became Haunted Mansion. Mission to Mars had a movie back in 2001, 2002, somewhere around there, which was a Tomorrowland attraction over at Walt Disney World, and that was also over at Disneyland. But that had its own attraction. And then Tower of Terror had a made-for-TV movie that came out back in 1997, I want to say. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it was 1997, starring Steve Guttenberg and Kirsten Dunst. And then I think that might be it for attractions that became movies. And then if you want things that came from screen to theme, you could write a whole book about it. I have. So yeah, there's a lot of movies that have become attractions. I mean, when you just look at Fantasyland just in general, at any Disney park is movies to attractions for the most part. There's a few things, like PhilharMagic obviously is different bits and pieces of different ones. It's a Small World is a brand new idea that they actually created for the park. But overall, the majority of the stuff there was created specifically for it. Buzz needs an update. I disagree. I love Buzz Lightyear. I love Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin. Who's your favorite CEO out of Michael Eisner and Bob Iger? Oh, I think it's Bob Iger. Michael Eisner gets a lot of hate, and I feel terrible that Michael Eisner gets a lot of hate because a lot of people forget about all the amazing things that Michael Eisner did for the company. I mean, the guy bought ESPN. Like, he bought, okay, Michael Eisner, but Bob Iger's my answer. I know for a fact Bob Iger's my answer. But Michael Eisner gave us ESPN. He gave us All-Star Movies, All-Star Sports, All-Star Music. He gave us the ESPN Complex. He gave us, that's just like little things. He gave us Caribbean Beach. Again, little thing. Port Orleans Riverside, Port Orleans French Quarter, little things. And then, he gave us big things like Disneyland Paris, pretty big. Walt Disney Studios Park, pretty big. Tokyo Disney Sea, pretty big. Then you get things like California Adventure. Yeah. Can you give us more rent? Oh, yeah, I'll give you some more. How about Disney MGM Studios, now Disney's Hollywood Studios, Disney's Animal Kingdom. He gave us a whole lot of things at the parks. Then on top of that, he also gave us Little Mermaid, which caused an entire commotion and brought us to where we are in Disney animation today. If it was not for Michael Eisner, we probably would not have ever had things like Tangled, Princess the Frog, and Canto, which just came out. That probably would not be a thing, but because of him kind of putting money and giving those animators another chance. Also, side note, if you've never watched Waking Sleeping Beauty, which is a documentary about that from 1985 until 1994, amazing documentary, kind of chronicling that entire span of time for the Walt Disney Animation Department. Go check it out if you've never seen it. It is on Disney Plus. It is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen in my life. It is one of the few documentaries I have watched multiple times because every time I'm blown away by it. But that's besides the point. He gave us so many different things, and I feel so bad for Michael Eisner because he gets such a bad rep now, and he had such a bad rep at the end of the thing. By the end of his CEO-ship, that's a word, by the end of him being a CEO, he was going downhill. Like he was running something from the ground. He wasn't putting money into things that he should have been putting it into. But if you overlook that and you look at everything else he did a whole lot for the company. And because of him, I think the company is still going strong. I feel like he kind of saved the company, him and Frank Wells. But Bob Iger is my answer, mainly due to the fact that Bob Iger, day one, walked in to Steve Jobs and said, "Hey, I want to buy Pixar." And he bought Pixar. Bob Iger, he went through, he bought us Fox, he bought Marvel, he bought pretty much every major entertainment thing that we all know and love. He bought them all. And he brought new parks of the world like Shanghai Disneyland. He brought us 2 new cruise ships. He brought us a lot of different things. He put the forefront on movies again. He had it because the movies were kind of going downhill again. Because of him, we got things like Tangled. We got things like Princess of the Frog. We have so many different movies that have come out because of Bob Iger. So I think Bob Iger does win. It might be because he's more recent, so he's more fresh in my mind, but I think Bob Iger does win in my mind between the two. So that's our little debate. Yay! Okay, let's go to our next question here. But what if they updated the People Mover to include more parts of the park and maybe even some behind-the-scenes action? I've seen a lot of the behind-the-scenes things. I don't really need I don't like to be taken, unless it was like something like, I don't know. I love the People Mover. I'm afraid that if they ever close the People Mover for something to do a big update, it would be like how it happened in Disneyland, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, and by the way, you don't get the People Mover anymore. Because I have friends who are in Disneyland who are still upset about that, and it's been 25 years since the People Mover closed. So, yeah. Dream guest on the show. Ooh. Like Haley Mills right now, because I'm reading the book. So, like, that's the one that's, like, fresh in my mind, where it's like, ooh, that'd be a great one. If we're talking about CEOs, Bob Iger and Michael Eisner would be great to have on the show, to just kind of listen to the two of them. I think that would be mind-blowing. I would love to interview Jim Cummings. He's the voice of my childhood. Like, he literally did the voice of pretty much every character that I was growing up with. So I think he'd be really cool to kind of like sit back and listen to and just kind of talk to and hear different stories for. Throw in the question, or throw in the comments on the question. Throw in the comments, who would you be your dream guest? Like, who would be the one that you would like to hear us talk to at some point, and interview at some point? I would be happy talking to anyone, honestly. Like, just, there's been a lot of times where we go through and we talk to some of these people, and I just think it's a cool experience to just kind of sit back and listen to them and talk to them. And yeah. Okay, let's continue on to our next questions here. So Bob Greer had just come out with his book, right? I had him on the show because I was like, oh, this would be perfect. We can get him on the show because he just had a book come out. And I hadn't purchased the book yet because it had just come out. And the book was like $60. And so I'm interviewing him, and I'm asking him questions like, well, buy my book. And he kept on saying that throughout the whole show. So I was like live and like buying his book while interviewing him. Yeah. Oh, Dave Smith. Dave Smith. Oh, Dave. Okay. I can't believe I forgot Dave Smith too, because Dave Smith has always been one of my favorite people that we've interviewed. Dave Smith. Dave Smith was an amazing man. I cannot stress this enough. He was the first big guest that we ever had on the show. Back in 2011, I want to say. I think it was 2011. Dave Smith, I met him. I met him several times, but the first time I ever met him was in 2009 at the D23 Expo. I met him in a hallway. He was walking by. I was with my dad waiting for a presentation. And I said, "Oh, that's Dave Smith. I'm going to go say hi." So I went over and I said hi to Dave Smith, and I got a picture with him. And then about 2-3 months later, my dad and I went to the Walt Disney Studios. We got a tour of the archives, and part of the archive tour was you met Dave Smith. And we met Dave Smith, and he seemed like he kind of remembered me, and I reintroduced myself. And after that, every time I saw him, he would always say, "Oh, hey, Brent, how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, Dave Smith." But Dave Smith, to the day he died, pretty much, it was probably like a month before he passed away. It was the last time I had written to him. But anytime I would have a question about anything for a future book, I would send him a message. Him and I were Facebook friends. I would send him a message on Facebook, or I had his email. I also had his phone number. I never called him besides when I interviewed him though, because I didn't want to, be that guy. But I would write to him, and literally within like 12 hours, every single time, within 12 hours, he would answer my questions. Oh, well, like this is what you're looking for, and blah blah blah. And I don't know. I've always appreciated Dave Smith. I've always thought he was such a great guy. And yeah, Dave Smith. Dave Smith was one of the best. He's probably my favorite person that we've ever interviewed. I can't believe I forgot him. Alice Davis and Mike Peraza. Oh, could you imagine interviewing? I've listened to Alice Davis talk at a few of the D23 expos. She's got some great stories. I think she would be a great person to talk to. Mike Peraza would be a lot of fun too. I sent him a message the other day. He responded, but it was about buying one of his things. So I think that's why he responded. Mike Peraza worked on like DuckTales, and he's done a lot of work with Scrooge McDuck, and I'm a huge Scrooge McDuck fan. So yeah, I would love to interview Mike Peraza. I think that would be a fun one to do. Obviously, Walt Disney would be a great one to do along with Mickey Mouse, but I think it'd be kind of tough to do either one of those. Although we could have Brett Iwan on the show, who is the voice of Mickey Mouse. Oh yeah, there's a lot of different people that I would love to interview at some point on here. We gotta get another interview going. I feel like there's another person though that I'm missing that we've interviewed before. That's what I miss about like the first D23 Expo, the one that was in 2009, was there's so many different Disney celebrities there. I met so many different people throughout the day, and like Tommy Kirk was there, and all these other things. I'm gonna throw this on the bottom there too. Oh, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm gonna leave it up for a minute just because I think it's kind of weird. It's like, please be my friend. But yeah, we the first D23 Expo, we met so many different people. It was kind of crazy. And if you ever go to those expos, try to go through and like, if you see someone, say hi to them. Like Erik and I, one time, we saw John Musker. No, we saw Ron Clements. Was it? Now I'm drawing a blank. Which one did we meet? Because I've met both of them before. Erik, help me out. Was it John or Ron? Ron John. But just we met one of them, and people were just walking by like they had no idea that this guy was like the guy who directed so many, like he directed Aladdin, like, and this guy's just, people are just walking by him like it's nothing. Oh, Judi Benson. I've reached out to Judi Benson a few times, but I think she gets so many emails that it was Ron Clements. Okay. I think she gets so many emails that there's only been one time where she's seen one of my posts that I tagged her in and she liked it, but that was Judi Benson would be really cool. You have no idea who anyone is, or I don't have any anime. Oh, you don't know. wait, so let's go through here. Alice Davis, she was the person who worked on things like Small World. Like she worked on Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, Country Bear Jamboree. She was the wife of Mark Davis. Alice Davis was like a massive costume designer for Walt Disney Animation. Walt Disney, Walt Disney is. If you've ever heard of Walt Disney World, that's him. That's the guy. If you've Mike Peraza, he worked on DuckTales. He worked on several different like animated things. He also does a lot of different Disney fine art. Judi Benson, voice of Ariel, voice of Bo Peep, voice of Lady from Lady and the Tramp, but not 1955 version, Lady and the Tramp 2, Scamp's Adventure, and several other different characters as well. And I've heard Judi Benson goes on the cruises a lot. Dave Smith was the founder of the Walt Disney Archives. Who are the other people? Michael Eisner was he was the CEO. Bob Iger is the CEO. Are there any other people on here? Bob Gurr, he created the monorail. He created anything that moves in Disneyland, pretty much. So yeah, now you know who everyone is. Yay! Joe's all cut up. Okay, any other questions before we wrap up this bad boy? We've got a few minutes left here. So if anyone has any final questions, throw them in the comments or forever hold your peace. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is there any other fun facts? Let's do it. Someone throw a question about like how an attraction was built or something or another. Don Ducky Williams. I've got a piece of Don Ducky Williams someplace. I'm trying to remember what this is. Oh, the American Adventure. Oh, you know those posters that they do around the EPCOT experience? This is one of them. That's not like the one that was on the wall. I didn't take it. The American Adventure. What is the backstory of Space Mountain? Let's do the history of Space Mountain. Let's do a quick 3 to 4 minute backstory of Space Mountain. Then we'll go to, because it looks like we have other questions here. What is the backstory to Space Mountain? Okay, so Space Mountain. First off, Space Mountain is a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster over in Tomorrowland, obviously. Now, have you guys ever heard the story about how on Earth Space Mountain came to be? Because it's a very interesting story, in my opinion. So when Disney was looking at building Walt Disney World, they wanted to do different ideas that they used at Disneyland because it was going to make things easier. You already had the blueprint for some stuff, so might as well bring it over to Walt Disney World as well. However, one of the problems they had was Fantasyland in Disneyland is set in a different part of the world than Fantasyland in Walt Disney World. Now, Disneyland is set like near the Swiss Alps, so you have things like the Matterhorn. In Walt Disney World, though, it takes place more like in a German fairy tale setting, and because of that, you don't have like massive mountains. But they wanted to bring the Matterhorn over to Disney World because it's such a popular attraction. It's such a classic attraction. And if you remember, Disneyland's Matterhorn has two tracks. Well, it's the only Matterhorn, but it has two tracks. It's got one on the right, one on the left. You go up, different experiences, but kind of the same experience at the same time. In order to pull this off, what they decided to do was they decided to actually create a brand new attraction based off the same exact model that Disneyland's Matterhorn had. And they decided that the best way to do this was give it a brand new setting. The setting was, what about space exploration? So they decided to give Walt Disney World a space exploration journey. Now, earlier you guys were saying, like, why not Tomorrowland? Tomorrowland needs an update. If you think Tomorrowland needs an update now, let's go back to 1971. Because in 1971, Tomorrowland had the Speedway. Mission to Mars. That was it. There was nothing else. Or Flight to the Moon. Flight to the Moon and Speedway, there was nothing else there. It was a very dull, very boring land where you really had nothing really to go check out and experience. So a lot of people were not, Tomorrowland was not, it was not a happening place. 1975, huge year for it because we got Space Mountain, we got People Mover, and we also got the Carousel of Progress, which moved over from Disneyland over to here. But when they decided to move the Matterhorn over here, they decided that they're going to give it a space theme. Now, the entire basic storyline of Space Mountain is you were literally just traveling in space. And when you're traveling in space, some things may go wrong. So in reality, you're just flying through space. There's not a big elaborate backstory behind it. They should have it so like there's, you know, some engine problems or whatnot, and that's why you're kind of flying all over the place. But overall, yeah, there's not a huge elaborate backstory. But the main reason that we do have a Space Mountain is due to the fact that in Disneyland, they had the Matterhorn and they wanted to bring the Matterhorn over somehow, and that was their solution. The track is almost identical, but not completely identical to the track over at the Matterhorn. So if you've ever been on the Matterhorn, you know that there's some parts where it's like you're side by side. You don't do that here at Walt Disney World, but there are different parts where they've replicated it from Disneyland to Walt Disney World because they had the basic structure of one of the tracks and they kind of mirrored that track for Walt Disney World and added a few different parts to have it so they would overlap around. And then if you get to the end where like you kind of go down into the water and then you come back up at the Matterhorn, they don't have that at Disneyland. So yeah, that's the kind of the backstory of Space Mountain. Did you eat cookies at Epcot yet? The only one I've had was my parents and I tried the Snickers Doodle cookie from Canada the other day. It was okay. I'm a cookie fan, but it wasn't. I wasn't a big fan of it. Just give me a chocolate chip cookie, and I'm happy. That's what I want. I want a chocolate chip cookie. You can only pick one animated movie and one live action movie to watch the rest of your life. What are they? Oh my God. Erik, you're coming up with like really elaborate questions today that are really difficult to answer. I want everyone in the chat room, I want everyone to answer this question in the chat room too. So write down your answers right now as well. Because I'm very curious what other people's answers are. Because part of me really wants to say Candle Shoe because I love Candle Shoe. But I think I've seen Candle Shoe enough times that I can close my eyes and watch the whole movie. Yeah. And Jodie Foster's walking down the street with her friends, and they're gonna spill the oil can, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, they're gonna grab her, and then maybe Mary Poppins. No, the Love Bug. Love Bug is my live action one. Love Bug because Herbie's amazing. So Love Bug is my live action one. For animated, it probably is going to be Peter Pan. So let's say Peter Pan and the Love Bug. Those are my top two, or that's my live action and my animated one. I want other people to be answering the questions below. Which one are yours? No one's answered yet. So hopefully people answer. What do you think the biggest false rumor at Walt Disney World? Did someone lose their head at Space Mountain? Is Pirates really haunted? Is that really a turkey lake or emu, etc.? Well, I know for a fact that the turkey lake is an emu because I used to know when I did my college program, I knew one of the managers who worked the turkey card and they confirmed that it in fact was an emu. Disney has an emu farm. Is Pirates really haunted? I truly feel like that Haunted Mansion is haunted. I know that no one has lost their head at Space Mountain. That is 100% false. That is 100% false. Or the fact that people are not dead at Disney, because I've seen people die at Disney. Not to sound morbid or anything, but I've seen it happen. So, it's not a pretty picture. I can't bring anyone back from the dead. It's not a pretty picture. I think I quote the genie more times on this show than any other movie. That's. I wish there was a way for me to tally up that kind of stuff without going back and watching every single show that I've ever done. I probably have quoted the genie more times than any other Disney character while we do these things because I just do stupid genie impersonations quite often. I think we have the most views on Candle Shoe. 100% we have the most views on Candle Shoe. Erik and I probably... I watch Candle Shoe probably... It's close to once a month. And there's times where Erik and I will be talking about Candle Shoe. He'll be like, hey, I'm watching Candle Shoe right now. I'm like, blast it all. I have to watch Candle Shoe tonight. I think Candle Shoe is such a good movie. It's one of those movies that when you know it well enough, you can just kind of have it play in the background and like, it's such a, I love Candle Shoe. Candle Shoe is such a great movie. If you've not watched Candle Shoe, make sure, that's like the fourth time we've talked about Candle Shoe today. If you've not watched Candle Shoe, make sure you go watch out Candle Shoe. Beauty and the Beast and Iron Man. Ooh. Beauty and the Beast and Candle Shoe. There we go. 2 Beauty and the Beasts though. Wow. Peter Pan, Mary Poppins. Interesting. Okay. So that is going to conclude our episode, though. It looks like we're out of the questions here. So we're going to wrap up this bad boy right here. As always, tonight's show is sponsored by It's All About the Mouse Travel. Make sure you stop by it'sallaboutthemouse.com for all of your Disney travel needs. All of their services are absolutely, positively, 100% free. So make sure you book with them for your next Disney vacation. I'd like to thank everyone out there for joining us once again this week. Please keep on spreading the word about the Wednesday show and From Screen to Theme, and invite anyone and everyone to join the group right here on Facebook. Or if you're over on YouTube, encourage your friends to come over and subscribe. If you have not ordered a copy of A Closer Look At, or A Closer Look At, or guess what, A Closer Look At, make sure you go visit the Shop Now button at the top of the Facebook page or over in my bio to go purchase your books. I will ship them out tomorrow if you buy it tonight. It's Brent Dad's guarantee. Also, in addition to that, just adding something here. We are getting closer and closer to my goal of 1,300 subscribers. That was one of our questions earlier. Let's look, because we're here. Let's look at it to see what our number is and how far away we are from the 1,300. I want to hit 1,300 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. So we have roughly 3 weeks. We are currently 16 people away. I sign every book that I ship out. So if you want to have a more rare one, you probably don't want it signed. But yeah, we are currently 16 people away from our 1,300 subscriber. So if you know anyone who wants a daily Disney content, make sure that you send them over and get them to subscribe, because we are 16 people away from 1,300 subscribers. My goal is to hit this by the end of the year, but if we can hit it earlier, that'd be super, might I add, de-duper. Hey, Matt, how are you doing, buddy? All of a sudden, Matt's going into extra innings here. He's bringing us into extra innings, possibly. I'll tell you what. If we can somehow get up to 1,285 subscribers, and then in the next 2 minutes, we'll go on for another 5 minutes. And then if we get up to 1,286, we'll go for another 5 after that, and so on and so on. Because now we have people coming on. Why is everyone showing up right when we're about to close out the show here? Okay, so we're gonna make that a thing. If we can get to 1,285 subscribers on YouTube right now, we're gonna go for another 5 minutes, and then if we can get to 1086, we'll go for another 5. We'll just keep on going up. If you guys can keep on getting us new subscribers, every time you get us, why everyone's coming on right now? Holy cow! Hello, everybody. We are literally about to close out the show, and now everyone. Okay, let's do 2 more questions, and we'll see. We'll do one question, and we'll see if we have any more subscribers. And if we have more subscribers, we'll continue on. Okay, so if anyone out there has another Disney question, throw your question out there, and we will gladly answer your question. And then we're going to continue trying to see. Maybe we could hit 1,300 subscribers tonight. I don't know. It'd be kind of exciting if we did. Every new subscriber, though, that we get from now till we wrap up will give us another 5 minutes of view time here. So we'll answer one question. If we get a subscriber in the time, by the time I finish answering that question, then we will continue on. Backstory of Castaway Cay. Let's take out a map of Castaway Cay, because I have one right here. Okay. You know what the real backstory? Oh, the Castaway Key is an exotic island found out in the middle of the Caribbean islands. I'm trying to. Can you guys see that? Hopefully, because I cannot see around it right now. So Castaway Key doesn't have a big elaborate backstory like a lot of things around Disney does, but we've got enough of a backstory that we can kind of talk about it. So over here, this is a trail. That trail is actually a runway. That runway actually was used as an actual runway before Walt Disney World picked it up or purchased the island. But the backstory is essentially, you go here, it was a small little village, and the village kind of started to take over in popularity. Now, one of the people who owns part of the island, or not own part of the island, but had a business on the island, is a man named Cookie. That's right, Cookie. Now, I know you're thinking Cookie is a food, but Cookie is also a man in this backstory. So Cookie owned his own restaurant that he opened up on Castaway Key, and he named it, ironically, Cookies. Cookies became such a popular location for guests to go to, or visitors to the island go to, that eventually he decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open up a second location. And guess what he named it? That's right, Cookies 2. So Cookie, along with his other restaurant, Cookies 2, started to have it so more and more people would be coming out to Castaway Key to get his delicious food. Now, when Cookies started to take off and more people started to move to the area, he started to have more and more spots open up around the island. And that's why we have things like the Heads Up Bar, because all of a sudden it became a exotic location for people to go to. And they would, of course, want to go to a bar while they're out there. So they had things like the Heads Up Bar open up. They also have, I'm trying to think of the name of the bar. I'm drawing a huge blank right now, so I'm looking up the map here. The Sandbar, I always love that name. The Sandbar became another staple, and more places would open up as time would go on. And then eventually they would open up the island to Disney and people who would come through, because Mickey, Minnie, and all the other gang, they found the island. They absolutely loved the island. They fell in love with the island, and they decided that what they needed to do is they needed to bring more and more people to this magical place that they discovered, and that's where it is. When did Castaway Key open? Castaway Key opened up in 1998, with the Disney Magic being the first ship that would ever go out there. The following year, the second ship would go in 1999, which was the Disney Wonder, and then years would go by before in 2011 we got the Disney Dream, and then 2012 we got the Disney Fantasy. Okay, we answered 2 questions there. Let's go to our thing here. If we got any subscribers, cross your fingers. We'll go on for another 5 minutes. If we did not, it ends here. And unfortunately, it ends here. But maybe we'll play that game next week too. Where if you guys get us some new subscribers, we'll extend the time a little bit. We'll extend it like 5 minutes every time we get a new subscriber. All right, so like I said, we are 16 subscribers away from 1,300. So make sure you go through, send your friends to come subscribe. I am refreshing it until we wrap up, because if we get that person before I finish wrapping up, we will be going through. Do cast members live there? Yes, there are about 100 cast members who do live on Castaway Key. Their job is essentially to make sure that everything is looking nice and pretty for the people who come the following day. Now, there's not people who come to Castaway Key every day, but it's quite often. All right, so let's wrap up this party. Maybe any new subscribers? Because we are about to wrap it up here. Also, speaking of YouTube, if you guys have not noticed, I am posting a YouTube video every single day. Anytime that you guys post, or anytime I post, a comment goes a long way, and I can't stress that enough. A like and comment goes a long way. So even if you just kind of throw the video on in the background, I truly appreciate every like, every comment, every view. So keep on spreading the word. Keep sharing those videos that you do enjoy, and it really does make a huge difference. I can't stress that enough. I was talking to someone at work about it the other day. I am stalling for time to see if we get another subscriber, so you're welcome. But now I'm just talking about nothing. But I was talking to someone at work the other day, and they were saying, "Oh, I don't understand why you work with us, because you're rich." I'm like, I'm not rich. But if people kept on watching the content and stuff, I don't think people understand how much. So for a guy like me who's a small YouTuber, I'm a very small YouTuber, not short. Well, I'm pretty short, but not in height, but in number of followers and number of views, etc., etc., etc. I am a fairly small YouTuber, and because I am a fairly small YouTuber, I do check the number of subscribers that we have constantly. I check at least 2 or 3 times a day, and every time I see one new one, I'm like, oh yes, we got one more. Every time I see another view, I get excited. Like I legit, I get really excited anytime that I see new subscribers, new comments, new likes, all that other stuff. I really do pay attention to. So anytime that you guys see a new video, I truly appreciate every like, every comment, every subscribe, every share, every all that stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because it really, as a person who is trying to make this a full-time thing, it truly does mean a lot to me every time that we see a single one come through. So keep on sharing, keep on spreading the words. I think my stalling has gone on long enough because we still have not got a new subscriber. So to finish this up, remember that anything can happen if you let it. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Wait, can you PM how to be a Patreon? Not sure if spelling. Should we do that before we close too here? Let's do that. We'll answer that one because I would love to hear. I will share it right now in the comments. I don't know if it's going to go to both comments though. Ooh, that's a good question. How can you become a Patreon? Wait, no, don't. I don't want to see what's next right now. Don't show me what's next right now. We're going to go to the Patreon page. And how do I share it? If you go to patreon.com/Brent Dodge, let's go here. Can we do this right here? Paste. Oh wait, chat. Yes, that goes to both of them. Hey. So you just bought yourself some more time because I'm going to talk about this for a minute here. So by becoming a Patreon pal, which is what I Brent Dodge says that. Yeah, from Screen Theme says it. Ooh, that's kind of like that. By becoming a Patreon pal, one, you get your name written at the end of every single one of my videos, which is kind of cool. Two, by becoming a Patreon pal, it truly helps me just kind of go through and create more content. It gives me more time to create content. It allows me to have some more money to update everything, update my camera equipment, update my computer equipment, etc., etc., etc. So pretty much every dollar that goes into my Patreon is taken and put into different projects that I'm working on. So all the money that I had from Patreon for like 4 months, I took that money and then I bought a new GoPro because I desperately needed a new GoPro so I could bring back crazy challenges and make more videos. So I bought a new GoPro with that Patreon money. There's also a Patreon but there's a spot where I'm putting all my Patreon money specifically to create new content. There is a crazy challenge that I haven't even announced to my Patreon people. I've told them a few times that I've got this idea for a crazy challenge for a while now, but I have an idea for a crazy challenge. I've had it for a long time, but I need a lot of money for it to be able to pull it off. And so the money in my Patreon account is going towards that. Also, now that we're monetized on YouTube, that money is going to be going towards that as well, along with giving me the opportunity to buy an annual pass for myself every single year to continue going to the parks and bringing content to you guys, whether it's pictures over on YouTube or pictures on Instagram or doing my daily videos on YouTube or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Every penny that's put into the channel kind of goes back into the channel to help increase the channel. So essentially, yeah, the Patreon has helped me update camera equipment and helped me get a new computer. It helped me. Yeah. But if you're a dollar Patreon pal, you become a. You get to go to my Facebook page. If you are the $5 one and $10 one, you get to have like previews of videos, and sometimes I try to get into do a live feed from the park quite often. But if you're one of the $5 ones or $10 ones, you get to have like we do previews of every single video that we do. So if you are around at 2:00 tonight and you're a Patreon pal at like 1:00, 2:00 in the morning, you get a preview of what the next video is going to be that's going to be coming out the next day. And then in addition to that, if you're a $10 Patreon pal, anytime I come out with a new book, new poster, new etc., you get that for free. So, yeah. Anyways, that's Patreon pal. We'll do one last update here. No new subscribers. Okay, so on that note, everyone have a great night, and we'll see you guys all a little later. Bye-bye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Are they are they gone? Are they gone? Are there new subscribers? Nope. Bye-bye. Oh, my cheeks are just killing me. I just can't stand this kind of pressure.